Hello and welcome to my channel. From chronic fatigue to chronic abundance, I am Kristin. Welcome to my weekly live Q&A, where I am here to answer your questions about life with severe chronic fatigue as a symptom. No question is too big or too small or too weird or too personal or too anything. All questions are welcome, as long as it has to do with living with severe chronic fatigue. This is, probably like our fourth or fifth quarantine edition. I can't even be bothered to properly get dressed anymore. I didn't put on any makeup. I'm looking at my skin now and it's not looking very good. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I care about you a lot. I'm really out of the habit of the whole thing. You know what I mean? So, well, honestly, I know that was probably an insensitive thing for me to say. I know all of you know what I mean. I know what I mean from past experience being, I was never fully housebound, but there were times where I was mostly housebound. There was definitely like a year, almost 2 years straight where I was too sick to work. So that meant leaving the house very infrequently, showering way less often than I used to, living in my pajamas. And at the time, right now I have pretty long hair. At the time I had a little short pixie haircut, super boy cut short, cool bangs and everything haircut. And when I didn't style that hair, it was an absolute mess. Short hair like that needs to be styled on a daily basis to look presentable. And now my hair is long enough, I can just throw it up in a bun when I feel like it. So, hi, Lisa. Oh, look, I love that big kiss. I just keep staring at that. That's so nice to see. How am I doing today? I'm good. I'm being productive, which feels good right now. Lisa, I'm glad to hear you're doing a bit better. You signed up for Instacart. Yay. That means you don't have to go in the grocery stores. Physically, you won't have to be walking around, and physically, you won't have to be exposing yourself to things. You shop for a few hours one day and rest, and then another day, and then you go again. Oh, thank you. I'm just wearing really comfy, cozy stuff. Oh, wait, I forgot I have the microphone on there. Sorry if that made things really loud. I'm sure that made some kind of unpleasant noise. Yeah, I'm just wearing really, really cozy stuff. It's chilly here in Philly. It's back in the 40s all day today. 40s Fahrenheit for those of you not in the US. Lisa, I'm glad you are taking steps to make things a little bit easier for yourself. I think that's a big thing that everyone is taking away from this is how do we simplify life a little bit? How do we make things a little bit easier on ourselves? Things like Instacart are great because sometimes they don't, I forget what Instacart does. I forget if Instacart doesn't charge you for delivery. I think they do charge you for delivery, but it's a few bucks. And it's one of those kinds of things when you look at the time and the effort it takes to go grocery shopping, it's a no-brainer if you have those few extra bucks. Right now, I know in some places, Instacart and other grocery deliveries are delaying orders by a week or more. Normally you can get groceries the same day or the next day delivered, but because there's such a demand, the stores are being overwhelmed, the supply is running short. They can't fill your orders for a week sometimes. So it seems like you might have, Lisa, it seems like you might be fortunate enough to be in an area where they are experiencing massive delays from stuff in the grocery store and from delivery places, which is great. Oh, wait. Oh, you mean you're doing the shopping and delivering? Whoa. I totally had this completely wrong. So you're doing you're doing the shopping and delivering. You must really be feeling better because that's not easy to do. You've got to be in the store, walking around, you're pushing a cart around. You've got to be not just physically energetic. You've got to be mentally pretty clear because you've got to keep the orders straight, get the right things, put them in the right person's bag, not mix things up. So not only must you be doing physically pretty well, brain fog wise, that must be pretty light for you to do Instacart pretty well. Wow. That's amazing, Lisa. I know you're not doing it at full time every day. I totally get that, but that sounds like a huge step for you to be able to do that every couple days. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear you're feeling that well, mentally and physically. That's awesome. Yay. Do you like it? Are you worried about being in grocery stores? Do you have to take precautions while you're like working to like not be exposed? You're back in the working world and part-time. That's a great way to start. I don't think anyone who's recovering or recovered from severe chronic fatigue, I think you should always, always, always gradually get back into work. I would never recommend just going from like no work to full time. I would absolutely find part-time work because once you start being active again, I know you feel great now, but for a lot of people, it's really easy to overdo it and then crash again. And if you're working part-time, it's easier to manage some of those crashes as they happen. And you can really learn how to push your boundaries, test your boundaries without crashing, and then work your way up to full-time. Yay. Lisa, you're a little bit worried, but eventually everyone is going to get this virus. It's true. It's going to go around. It's a matter of, if you get it, how likely do you think you are to have severe side effects? I mean, there are people who seem extremely healthy who are almost dying from this virus. So like it's not a sure thing. And there are older people who get this who don't have to be hospitalized. It's not like it's a black and white situation. But you've got to be thinking about like your own risk tolerance here. Are you willing to risk getting it and having to go to a hospital nearby if that hospital is maybe at or near or past capacity? Whereas if we can delay getting it to when the hospitals aren't overwhelmed, when we know that there will be a ventilator available for us if we need one, I think that's part of the whole social distancing thing so that the people who are most at risk can possibly prevent getting this until the system is either caught up to like supply and demand, like we have enough beds, we have enough ventilators, we have enough protective equipment, or until, everyone's hoping for this vaccine. Who knows if it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. But like, for the most vulnerable, they may hope to avoid getting this until they can get the vaccine. And then they don't have to worry so much about, potential severe consequences happening. So it comes down, like, if you're not worried about it and you feel like you're going to be good and all those things, then like, then like, if you just want to like get it and get it over with, I think that's cool. I kind of like, it makes me think of chicken pox. Like parents will have chicken pox parties. Like one kid gets chicken pox and then they just have all the other kids come over and everybody gets chicken pox because chicken pox isn't deadly and everyone's going to get it and it's annoying and it's all these things. Like, let's just get it out of the way. Right. And if that's how you feel about this virus, then like, go for it. Like for me, I'm personally not super worried about getting it. Like if I get it, I get it. I'm not super worried about what's going to happen to me. I mean, obviously there's still that chance that I could have, a very severe reaction to it. I'm just more concerned about making sure that whether or not I get the virus, like whatever I have, I'm not passing it on to somebody else. That's the only thing. I don't want to be a vector for transmitting it to someone who could end up needing a lot more care to get through it. All right, little tangent there. Let's see. Hi, Ivan. Welcome back. Lisa, you've seen all videos about CFS, right? It seems like you helped then. Oh, it seems like it helped then, and I'm happy for you. Lisa says exactly. She has no idea how it would hit her, but she has good hospitals nearby, and hopefully you won't need that. Absolutely, hopefully you don't need it. And if you need a hospital for any reason in the near future, I'm hoping the hospitals near you have capacity for you, obviously. It's been a little scary for me because two of my sisters are pregnant right now. It's crazy. Two of my sisters, we don't live anywhere near each other. They got pregnant like almost at the same time in January. So they're both due in October, which is exciting. Like right now their due dates are within 5 days of each other. Insane, right? But I've been seeing pregnancy listed as a risk factor for COVID-19, meaning if you're pregnant when you contract it, you're at higher risk for having serious complications from it, which is obviously a very terrifying thing. And nobody wants to mess with that. Nobody wants to spread COVID-19 to pregnant ladies. So I'm definitely not going to be seeing my sisters anytime soon. Oh my gosh, this is just hitting me. I don't know how this hasn't hit me before. My other sister, who's not pregnant, I have 3 sisters. If you guys don't know this, I'm the oldest of 4 girls. My other sister, the one who's not pregnant right now, she is engaged and she is supposed to be getting married in early August. And we're supposed to have her bridal shower in June. We're supposed to have her bachelorette party in July. And we're supposed to have her wedding in August. And 2 of my other 2 sisters are pregnant, which is a risk factor for COVID-19. Oh my God. It's just kind of hitting me now. Like, what's going to happen? Even if we're physically allowed to get together for the wedding, is it a good idea? I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to my sisters about this later tonight. This is getting scary. It's getting real. Okay. Yeah. And like, Ivan, if you start joining more of these, Lisa's pretty open about talking about how she's doing and what her journey is like. And, she has ups and downs, but like she's trending on that upward path over time. And it's not quick. It's taken way longer than any of us wanted to take, but it is that slow, steady progress is happening because she has a lot of the right mindset components in place. You sending me an article, Lisa? I'll check it out when you send it through. Yeah, my skin's not super great. Let's see. All right, questions. I'm here to answer questions. You can start typing those up. The way it works is you can just pop those into the live chat over here, and I'll go through and just answer them in order. Like I said, no question too big or too small or too weird or too personal or too anything. I'm very open minded to talk about all of the impacts and implications of living life with severe chronic fatigue. So in the meantime, I've been making a lot more video content for my business and been really, really enjoying it. I really, really enjoy doing video work. Like I like speaking on camera. For me, it's a much more effective and faster way to communicate than typing. I'd much rather just sit and talk to someone one-on-one. I'd rather make a video about something I want to explain. I like doing these live Q&As with you guys in real time. So if you guys know of any businesses who want to have more of an online presence but don't want to get on camera themselves, you can recommend them to me. Send them my way. I would love to start doing video for businesses. Let's see. All right. Oh, hi, Raf. I think I'm saying it better, Raf. You can tell me if that's good or if that's wrong. Let's see. Raf says he knows this from his emotional journaling that you have these emotional roller coaster based around how interactions go. Mainly when you buy something, you think it's the need for validation that can give you highs and lows, depending on how accepted you feel from that short interaction. Raf, this is such a great level of self-awareness that you're cultivating. This is beautiful. And I'm not sure what you're doing with this new awareness. I'm not sure what you think or feel about this roller coaster you're seeing. I'm not sure what you're doing to, work on that or change that, or if like you're just at the acceptance phase right now. But like this, but you are doing the right work with this journaling and this observing and noticing these patterns, Raf. Like this is beautiful because our body is always sending us messages about how we feel about things. And most of us have gotten extremely disconnected from that. And you're redeveloping that relationship between your body and your mind. We get so wrapped in our minds and our thoughts, and we tend to just kind of like tell our like physical feelings to just go away and take a hike because we don't have time for them, or they're too scary, or they're too whatever. But by reestablishing the connection to the messages that your body is sending, you're really, really doing yourself major, major favors here. Because when you start hearing the messages your body is telling you again, it really taps you into your own innate wisdom, and it's really going to help you rewire your ANS system, the autonomic nervous system, specifically the parasympathetic nervous system. Like a huge part of a healthy parasympathetic nervous system is constantly listening to the messages that are coming through from our body. Now, at first it can be hard and scary and overwhelming to listen to these messages, because there can be so many of them, and because we don't always necessarily know what the messages mean, right? Like, you're finding this pattern. It sounds like you're not sure what it means yet. And that's okay. But feeling is that first place. Like, it's kind of, think of it as like data collection. Like, you're just collecting a ton of data from your body all the time. And that's the absolute first thing you need to do. You need tons of data, and you need high quality, like in tune data first. And then you can start to figure out what it all means. Then you can build like an understanding and like a knowledge base of what these different messages mean. Okay. It's like you can do it in phases and layers, but you need that data source first, that data feed first, and you're reestablishing that. And it's fantastic. I love that you're journaling. Raf, if you're open to it, I would love it if you would explain a little bit about how you got into journaling, and how you get yourself to sit down and actually write this stuff out, and what that experience of journaling is like for you. I think it could help other people on here to hear about that. Because for many of us, it's not always easy to sit down and write. Like, we get writer's block. We're not sure what to say. We don't feel like doing it. So like, if you feel like talking about it, I think it'd be great. If you don't feel like talking about it, no pressure. It's totally cool. But I'm putting that ask out there. Raf, talking about video work, you want to make 2 YouTube channels. One about CFS, one about other interests of yours, but you feel even 1 channel is way too much weight on your fork and 2 might be unrealistic. Work up to it. Start small. If you really want to start a couple YouTube channels, definitely start with 1. I completely support taking slow. Post 1 video a month if that is like how slow you can go, or post 1 video a week, or like just break it down to the smallest chunks that you can. Take the pressure off and let yourself do this because you enjoy it. So make sure you're doing it in a way that feels good, feels sustainable, gives you more energy than it takes away. Because if you try to do this too fast, if you try to set the bar too high too soon, you know what happens. You get burned out on it, you crash, it falls by the wayside, and it goes nowhere. So like, just allow it to be small and slow, and it'll eventually gain momentum. As I've talked about before, I'm a big fan of people living with chronic fatigue syndrome having some sort of project in their life, something that they can work on in very small chunks within their energy envelope, but also something that gives them a sense of progress, a sense of being able to make effective change in the world, even if it's slower than they want it to be. But just being able to see something you've created and how it grows and develops over time can give you a ton of motivation and hope. So I'm a big fan of what you want to do with this, and encourage you to just break it down to the smallest, tiniest chunks and give yourself a ton of self-compassion while you look into how you can start one of these channels. I'm super supportive. If there's anything I could do to help you, let me know. I'm here. Yep, it is. Yeah, it can be a very physically easy activity. I'm sitting on the couch right now. You can do it lying in bed. The setup sometimes can be a little challenging. When it comes to video, you need to make sure you have good lighting. I'm sitting on the couch facing the window, so I have natural light because it's very bright. If I go sit over at my desk over there, it's not dark over there, but for video purposes, it's very dark and I'm very much in shadows and you can't really see me, and it doesn't, it's hard for people to like really see what's going on. So, you just kind of need to like spend some time figuring out lighting. Maybe you need to buy extra lighting. You'll probably want like a little microphone, a little decent microphone or something so the audio comes through better. But other than that, it's kind of it. Like I just use my laptop to do video and it records some high quality video and that's all I need. Other times video can be extremely exhausting because sometimes you have technical issues, things didn't record, you forgot to hit record, there were noises in the background, there's sirens going off, like technical issues abound and it can be very, very stressful at times. But anything is going to have its little bumps and ups and downs. All right, Ralph says in regards to the roller coaster, he doesn't know what to do about it. You might try not to care about it and take nothing personal, but that would take away the highs also, which still might be better. Let's see. Dr. Sarno from the Divided Mind and Healing Back Pain recommends it. That's how you got into the journaling. Okay. Oh, it's okay, Lisa. No worries. All right, that's cool. About the journaling. I don't know. I mean, you can try not to care about it, but if you're going to try not to care about something, I am going to caution that you're very careful about how you don't care. And that might sound weird. It's because we don't want to get in the habit of ignoring the emotional roller coaster or ignoring anything about the situations that are causing emotional roller coasters, because then we get back in the habit of just shutting down our body, not listening to the messages and losing that connection. Okay. Like you want to be able to maintain that full connection to all of the feelings and emotions you're getting from your physical body, from your emotional body, while trying to work on this. So you can allow these things to happen, allow these emotions to come up and view them in a dispersonal way, an unpersonal way, view them as something that you're experiencing, but something that aren't part of you. Like a big turning point is when we can learn to view our emotions and even our thoughts and our feelings as just something that's happening to us, but they're not part of us. They're not who we are. They are things happening to who we are, but they aren't truth. They aren't something we have to react to. And when we can do that, it actually decreases the power feelings and emotions have over us. Because what normally happens is we have an initial sensation in our bodies that creates an emotion. And then our conscious mind notices this emotion we're having, and the conscious mind reacts to that emotion, either positively or negatively, but it amplifies that energy and adds another layer. And then that creates a new emotion and a new conscious awareness and a new response. And we kind of get into these cycles of amping up situations with so much energy and emotion and thought that it just gets blown way out of proportion. And we get wrapped up in this downward spiral or even upward spirals of overwhelming energy and emotion. And it prevents us from dealing with the initial thing that happened. We get caught up dealing with all the extra layers of stuff. But when we can identify that initial response as something not as important as we used to think it was, not something that's part of our identity, we can eliminate a lot of those extra layers of reaction and emotion that get built up and tacked on. So, hi, I don't know how to say your name, Joshua. Oh, it's Josh. Hi, Josh. So we're talking about severe chronic fatigue right now and what it's like living with that. Ralph, I think you said something really smart there. You knew that by trying to eliminate the downside of the emotional roller coaster, you'd also be eliminating the upside of the emotional roller coaster. And that's very, very true. And that's not something many of us realize. Many of us believe that we can just eliminate the heavy emotions while retaining all of the positive ones. And that's just not how our biology works. Like if we're trying to cut off the extremes of our emotional experience, we do it from both ends. The more we try to hide from sadness, jealousy, guilt, any kind of, negativity, we're going to end up not being able to experience the highs, the positive emotions as well either. And in that same vein, oh, bye, Lisa. Take care. Thanks for dropping by. In the same vein, it's not healthy, just it's not healthy to go into that like reactive, negative, heavy spiral, that heavy downward spiral. It's also actually not healthy to go into like an overreactive upward emotional spiral either, because it's taking up a lot of energy and we're getting wrapped up in the emotions of our reactions as opposed to living in the emotions of the actual situation at hand. We want to avoid living in conscious reactions to things, and we want to start living more in our authentic, in the moment emotional responses to the initial like stimuli, to the like physical world around us. And then the more we can do that, the more stable our lives are going to be, the more stable our nervous system is going to be, the more energy we're going to be able to save for ourselves and for our healing journeys. Because those upward spirals take energy just like the downward spiral ones do too. I mean, I think most of us can relate to the experience of having a really, really huge positive emotional reaction to something happening in our lives and that causing a crash too. Maybe it's less rare, maybe it doesn't happen as much, but I know I've had them. All right, let's see. Ralph says, you just have a notepad next to you and you write whatever comes to mind. Sometimes you don't want to write down so much, so you don't analyze and you just write it without any thought, making it more of a complaint. Okay. But then you read it later in the day or the day after, and then you put more thought into it and try to analyze it. Low entry barrier is the key to consistency. You have no quota about how much you should write. Okay. I love this method. You just have the journal available all the time. Fantastic. Making it easy to just write whenever the mood strikes you, whenever you have an emotion. And I actually really appreciate that you're putting no pressure on yourself about how much to write. You're just allowing yourself to get something on the paper, whether that's 10 pages or like 10 lines. I think that's a really healthy way to go about it. And then I also really like that you're separating the writing down and the analyzing. I think that's really smart because when we're in an emotional response to something, we're typically a little more in the sympathetic nervous system, the stress, the fight or flight response. And when we're in the fight or flight response, our logical reasoning and analytical skills are diminished. Not always eliminated, but diminished. Oh, I've got someone knocking on my door. Hang on. I'll be back. Thank you. Yeah. It's okay. We just had our groceries delivered. I didn't know they would be bringing it to our front door. They normally leave it downstairs. So sorry about that. Let's see. I really appreciate how you separate the writing down in the moment from the analyzing, because when we're in that emotional moment, we actually can't analyze things as clearly and as impartially. Like it's not until later when we've calmed down, we're outside of that emotional response, that we can do more accurate analysis, just literally. We don't even, and as humans, we're not even aware of how our analytical abilities are impaired when we're in an emotional state. But science has shown that they are kind of similar to the way someone who's been drinking and tends to think that their driving skills are just fine, even though to someone who's sober, they obviously are not. Let's see. All right. I prefer answering your questions as opposed to just talking and coming up with things. If you guys have any questions today, now is the time to get them into the chat box. No question, like I said before, is too big or too small or too weird or too normal or asked too many times, or, I hope no one thinks that they ask too many questions here. I don't think there is such a thing. Because if you're asking lots of questions, the answers are heard and appreciated by a lot of other people. You're not the only one who struggles with these particular things. And my favorites are when people ask questions, and of course I always have like my take on the answer. But so many times other people who are watching have things to contribute for that person. They have their own solutions. They have their own points of view on it. And I love when we get a lot of those opinions put together because, I don't claim to have all the answers. I'm just talking to you from one person, as the point of view of one person who's gone through this on 3 separate occasions, like getting sick and getting my life back. So yeah, I love it when people contribute. Let's see. What else can I talk about until I get questions in? Man, I've been spending more time on YouTube in the past month, and I don't think it's a good thing. There's just a lot of crap on YouTube, and I tend to get sucked into the crap on YouTube more than I do the intellectual, interesting, like life-affirming stuff. I will admit every now and then I really love a good, like, really terrible, brain-rotting reality TV type show. And that's what I've mostly been getting into on YouTube these days. I mean, I know a very popular activity for people who are living with severe chronic fatigue as a symptom is to spend a lot of time watching TV and videos. So maybe it's time. Maybe we have a conversation about everybody's favorite brain rotting garbage that they enjoy watching. I've shared this before on here a couple times. Like, I used to love watching really trashy reality TV. I used to love watching the Real Housewives series when I was really sick because I could just tune out to it. It was just constantly entertaining. You don't have to remember people's names. You don't have to remember any sort of plot or thread. It doesn't take anything to watch that and be entertained by it. So I definitely watched a lot more Housewives than I'm proud to ever admit to anybody else in my life. I know Rafa's talked about enjoying watching comedy and some comedians. I think we've had some supportive discussions around like not trashy things to watch, but maybe it's time to also talk about trashy things. So I'll admit what I've been watching on YouTube lately has been Jeffree Star videos. I didn't know who Jeffree Star was. I didn't go looking for his content. I don't know if anyone I know has ever heard of Jeffree Star, but you started recommending his videos to me, and they are exactly the kind of like not mind-numbing checkout trash that I've kind of been craving. And I know why I'm craving it. I'm craving it because I don't really get any alone time since quarantine started. And like, I'm an introvert. I love my downtime. I love not having places to go. I think those are great. But what's been hard for me is also having my boyfriend home all of the time. Like, we get along, we have a great relationship, and I feel like our relationship has even gotten better since we're spending more quality time together. But just me as a person, I am at my most relaxed when I'm in a place where I can't hear another person. I know for a fact I won't see another person. I am just completely, fully isolated from anyone else for an extended period of time. And I just don't get that because we're living in a 2-bedroom apartment and we're both working from home. And I love him so much, but he is extremely loud. All day long, I can hear him on phone calls, and like in his free time, he likes to listen to like heavy metal loudly. He sings loudly. He plays piano and guitar loudly. So, I just I very, very rarely get that like quiet, I'm all alone kind of experience that makes me feel most relaxed. So I'm checking out from time to time right now with like really trashy YouTube television. So I'm just kind of like, I'm not proud of it, but I also understand why I'm doing it. I'm allowing myself that in little bits and pieces here and there, because I can't get what I really need. And sometimes that's just the way it is. We can't always give ourselves everything that we need. And we have to know how to, to roll with that and make the best of it until we can't get what we need. Hi, Anna. Okay, I did watch Love is Blind on Netflix, and that is, oh my God, such a bad show. Such a terribly bad, horrible reality show. I mean, oh my God. I didn't even watch the whole thing. Like, I would say I probably fast forwarded through at least half of it. Like, there was just so much crap I couldn't stand, and so many people I just couldn't even watch them on TV. Like, I just skipped around to like the interesting parts, basically. Like, I watched like I think like the first episode and a half, and then I just started skipping around to like the ends of the episodes when like things actually happened. But like, oh man, that show. Some of those girls. Oh my God. I don't remember any of their names. I'm so bad with names. I I don't know. I don't know if I want this to turn into like a session all about Love is Blind because it's terrible. But yes, I watched it. Trashy podcast equals PKA. I have no idea what PKA is. Okay, Google's not telling me what that is quickly. Trashy pot. Maybe I'll type in PKA podcast. Oh, here we go. That is a podcast. Painkiller already. Oh, it's a gaming gone comedy. Oh, a gaming comedy podcast. Yeah, I'm sure it's absolute trash. Ralph doesn't watch any trashy TV. He's a gentleman. Ooh, it's funny. Nika, do I think I could recover without the right supplements, just with pacing, etc.? For me, Nika, no, I don't think I would have recovered without the right supplements. The first time I healed, I didn't take that many supplements at all. Like, I really didn't take that much. And I did get better for an entire year, but I still relapsed, And part of that was like mindset and habits. And part of that I think was nutritional. Like, my body didn't have what it needed. I needed supplements for that. So, I would not have recovered without supplements, especially because I had such severe iodine deficiency. I absolutely needed iodine to recover. And to this day, 10 years later, I still take iodine every day. So I think it's extremely important. Do I think every single person needs supplements to heal? Probably not. I'm sure there's people who can get better without supplements, but I think it's going to take you a lot longer, like years longer, to get better without the right supplements in place. That's my own take on it. As for which supplements and what doses and like all that stuff, that is way beyond my ability to talk about a snippet on YouTube. All right, Anna watched it with her boyfriend, Love is Blind, and it was funny to watch and to talk about it. You almost forgot that you're sick because you were so into the show. See, that's great. Like, that's when like TV isn't just trashy. That's when it actually becomes like a healing activity, when you're talking to someone about it and like you're enjoying yourself. You get to have conversations. I didn't get to have conversations about it because nobody I know watched it, unfortunately. Just me. I think that's so cool. Did you guys, let's see. Yes, it is, but it was so bad that you found it good. Your boyfriend had to put a pillow on his face because he could not stand it. That's hilarious. I will say about Love is Blind, gosh, it was like some of those girls, it just seemed like they were like competing for guys. Like they just wanted the cute guy. They just wanted the guy the other girls wanted. They weren't there to like be to be their authentic selves and to like find a long lasting relationship. They were just there to like impress someone short term. And then of course it goes nowhere. Of course it blows up when that's all you're doing. Or like when people's insecurities came out, you know, it was so interesting to watch the social dynamics. I watched Love is Blind for the social dynamics. Because, oh man, when people are on camera, when people are trying to impress someone, and then when like all the facade drops and people have to be themselves around each other, oh my God, things change so much. It's so crazy. Let's see, Ralph, trashy self-help. Oh, Taylor Durden, a pickup coach. Any pickup advice out there at all isn't just trashy. I find so much of it just like gross and degrading and just like what's wrong with a lot of the internet. So trashy. I don't even think, I mean, I know people say like pickup coaching can be self-help. I don't think it's self-help. Guys who are playing games to get girls, they're not in it for a long-term relationship. They're not in it for life. They're not in it to be great dads. No. Oh, Anna, I know we do need a bigger apartment. We actually spent a ton of time back in like December and January looking for a 3-bedroom apartment. And there wasn't a whole lot. There's not a whole lot in our city. And what was out there was either just too expensive out of our budget, or it was just not nice. Like there are a lot of 3 bedrooms out there that just were not nice. Like we chose to stay in our 2-bedroom that's really nice instead of like moving into a really crappy 3-bedroom. So we're going to try again next year. We renewed our lease for a year. Hopefully we'll find something better next year and we'll have a 3-bedroom. Since you moved into a 3-bedroom, Anna, everyone has their own space. When you had a 2-room, we had the same problem. Yeah, like that's my thing. Like, you know, right now my boyfriend's like the primary breadwinner, so like he gets the office, like obviously. And that just leaves me with no room to call my own. And this is the first time, like not the very first time. For the vast majority of my life, I've always had a room that is mine, like a space that is mine. And it's hard for me to not have that. But I'm getting through it. I'll be okay. It's so cool that you got to move into a 3-bedroom, Anna. Ralph, you need to move out. I thought you just moved. You just moved in like October, didn't you? Oh no. You have one neighbor that plays loud R&B music and rap for hours, and you can hear the other ones having sex in a noisy bed. That is very unpleasant to have to deal with neighbors like that. I know what that's like. Yes. Move or just start to like call the cops on them or call the landlord, start making noise complaints. It's not fun, but it works. Let's see. Nika is asking me about Dr. Sarnos's books. You guys know that I don't know about like anyone else's work. I never spent time like reading books about chronic fatigue. For whatever reason, I decided reading books wasn't going to help me heal. It was going to give me ideas, but ideas weren't going to get me better. I needed someone to like help me create a plan and help me like just get past this. So I always focused on finding people to work with as opposed to spending my time and energy reading books about it. But I see Dr. Sarno is the healing back pain author. Let's see. Okay, Ralph says he's listening to the abbreviated version on YouTube. But you saw a CFS patient vlogging about it. You're looking for the book in your local library, but they didn't have it. Not surprising. Yeah, Nika saw it there too. Anna says you moved right before you got sick or while you were getting sick. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm glad you have your own space. It definitely helps. Oh, Raf. I made you feel guilty about the pickup artist thing. Inner game pickup is not about manipulating women to sleep with you, though. All right. Well, you'll have to educate me on that because any of the stuff I've seen online or I've heard about from other people has all been like things that are super shady. Super, super, super shady. Like, I guess the way to put it, um, if a woman was taking a similar approach to get with you, how would you feel about that? I think is one thing we should always ask ourselves, or like what would the opposite gender, what would it feel like if the opposite gender was trying tactics like this or trying to do things like this in order to get with me? Would I feel good about it or would I feel sketched out and gross about it? And I feel like that's a question people don't ask themselves enough when they get online dating advice. I've gone out and gotten online dating advice. There's one person in particular I followed whose work I absolutely love, but it's entirely about um, working on yourself, becoming your happiest self, like truly happiest self, not pretending, not forcing anything, but just like being your most genuine self. And that's how you get into a relationship, by like digging through your layers of psychological blocks and societal norms and just being your most authentic you. And that's how you get into a relationship. And she had really great like tactics, and it was very inspirational the way she talked about it. And I felt really good following her dating advice, because I was like, if a man was being told to be more himself, to work on his own emotional blocks and like, all that kind of stuff, I was like, I'd feel really good about it and I'd be really into that guy. So of course I feel good about following this dating advice. So maybe there is some good like pickup artist content out there, but I just feel like the name itself, pickup artist, like you're trying to master the art of picking girls up. Like that's what that term means. And that just feels inherently skeezy to me. Like I don't want someone who's mastering the art of picking me up. I want someone who is, I want to date a person. I don't want to date like an experience of someone from one night. I want to date someone where when I'm getting to know them on the first date and on the 10th date, I'm getting to know that person and they're going to continue being that person on the 100th date. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, from what I've been exposed to about pickup artists, it's made it feel like having a product, like as an example, like if you have like a physical product, and whether that's like a mediocre product, a crappy product, or even if it's a really great product, if you put really slick packaging on that product and like the packaging is all you can see and the packaging is what you buy, and then you open the packaging and the product just doesn't live up to the packaging, like I'm not a loyal customer. I don't want that product anymore. I want to return it. I want to go find something that like when I'm introduced to it, I'm getting to know it initially, it's what it is. Like it's not like a bait and switch kind of thing. So if your experience with the pickup art world is different, yeah, we can talk about that too. Okay, Nika ordered all those books. They're not expensive. All right, Raf's gonna send me a video and I can watch it and then we can talk about it. Let's see, Ralph would feel flattered if a woman would try tactics to seduce him, going out of her way to learn placebo tricks just to get me. I'm flattered. Anna says, I think the girls is already wrong because each person is so different. Raf, yes, I agree. The name has horrible implications, but the movement has come a long way. Yes, Anna, I agree. The outer game movement almost is non-existing and marginal. Yeah, Raf, send me a video. I'd be interested in watching something to see what it's evolved into. But here's the thing, Raf, like if someone seduces you, if someone uses tactics to seduce you and you fall for those seduction tactics because you think that this is who that person is, and then after date 10, you start to realize that this person is completely someone else. Like, how does that leave you feeling? Like, really, how would you really feel if you learned that that was just a tactic, a game they were playing to get you to like that? So here's what it is. When someone is using a tactic or a game to seduce you, you're not falling for that person. It feels like to that person like, "Oh my god, they're falling for me. They've fallen for me. I got them to go on a date with me. I got them to come home with me. I got them to whatever." They're not actually falling in love with you because they haven't actually been exposed to you. They're not actually experiencing you when you're playing a game or using a tactic to get them. They're falling in love with you acting as someone else with these games and tactics. And like, there's a time and a place for that. Like, if people don't want relationships, if people just want to have fun, if people want to do whatever, like, great. I don't have, like, I'm not against it completely. I'm just saying, if you're the kind of person who wants a long term relationship, who wants marriage, who wants kids, who wants to grow old with somebody, if you are someone who's looking for real connection, you need to lead with real connection. You need to start by showing up as yourself. You need to expose who you really are, because then that person can get to know you and like that person for who you are. That's how I think you build long-term relationships. That's my take on it. Okay, Ralph says those tactics don't work. In his opinion, they only have some success because it gives unsecure boys a structure to fall back on while trying to have a conversation. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if insecure boys, I mean, if it's just a way to gain confidence in themselves, I think that's great. Like, we all need to have more confidence and be more secure in ourselves. Like, nobody really wants to date an insecure, unconfident person. We need someone who has that in themselves. We all do. Men and women, we want that. I'm not sure what you mean by diametral. Roth. All right. So this is really gone off topic today. We are talking about pickup artists and stuff. I think it's very, very loosely related because I feel like in my own experience, my dating life and my approach to relationships vastly changed once I got the right mindset in place. Really, it comes down to taking a lot of those healing mindset principles I had learned and applied to healing, and taking a lot of those and applying them to other areas of my life. And that's when my dating life finally got really good and became a lot easier and clearer and simpler. And I finally met a really amazing guy that I'm with now. We've been together for over a year at this point, and we're living together, obviously. So so I would just take all that stuff as an extension of, like, when you have the right mindset in place, the right things begin happening. And when the right things aren't happening, when you're not healing over time, when you're not getting yourself into healthy relationships, when you're not meeting people, when you're constantly getting rejected, when you're cycling through relationships, it's an indication that you don't have the right mindset, and working on your mindset is what's going to help those things fall into place and help you see the results that you want to see. My opinion. Your through self opposing, showing yourself isn't opposing to inner game material. Okay. So they're not exclusive of one another. You can show yourself and have inner game material. That's good to hear, because the stuff I've always been exposed to was not like that. So it's good to hear that that is being promoted, to be yourself. All right, we've hit on almost an hour here. Haven't gotten a ton of questions today, so I think I'm going to hop off. Raf, if you want to send me that link, I'll watch that. I didn't get any link in here. I hope YouTube isn't like blocking links in the chat, because Lisa said she was going to send a link too, and I didn't see that one either. I don't know. Same time, same place next week, next Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll do this again. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well. The rest of the world is beginning to understand some of your pain, having to stay home all the time and having your options and choices vastly, vastly limited. That doesn't make it easier for us, but I think it could be a good thing if everyone's able to have a little more sympathy and empathy for people in this life situation. So, all right. As always, love seeing you guys hop on. Love that you're here. I'm looking forward to next week already, and sending you so much love and so much health right now. Take care. Bye.